Hello, listener, and welcome to the Building It Online podcast. Whether you're an established business owner or you're just getting started, we are here to help you build a better online business faster. This is the place where you can tune in and learn from experienced entrepreneurs about what it really takes to grow your business in today's online environment. And be sure to check out buildingitonlinepodcast.com for more expert interviews, key insights, and up-to-date growth strategies to take your business to the next level.
Cool. Welcome, guys.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Building It Online podcast. Brice and Mike coming at you again today with another episode of insight on how to build your business online.
Dun, dun, dun. Today we're going to cover what to expect when hiring a marketing agency.
Being two people that run marketing agencies, we have a lot of experience with people hiring us. And if you are in the business of growing your business and you're going to be hiring a marketing agency, we would like to share some insight with you that we have learned over the years about things to think about when you are hiring your marketing agency. Because there's a few things that you should probably know about before you get into one of these kind of relationships, because they can be extremely beneficial for everybody, or they can become very unpleasant experiences for some people. So
there's some horror stories of marketing agencies almost ruining companies just because of the moral lack in communication than anything. But
yes.
I feel like
we're going to make sure you have a good experience.
Yeah, I feel like for a lot of business owners, hiring a marketing agency is like being sent to the store to buy an avocado, and like not only do you know which avocados are good, but like you don't even know what an avocado is. And you're like, what am I looking for? You know? And it's like, what am I getting into?
Most people find their good marketing agency because they go through the experience of hiring a few really bad ones and they figure out what they don't want. And we want to help you not have to do that.
Yep. You should have a little bit more knowledge.
We're going to tell you what this avocado looks like.
Yeah. Cool. Well, let's kick it off here.
So here's we're looking at a situation here. Like, you've got a business, right? You want to hire a marketing agency to help you grow. And a couple of things that you should think about when you're looking for an agency. The first big thing that we would lay out here is, like, you need to talk to a lot of agencies, do your research, and go with someone who has a lot of experience with your specific needs. Because there are a lot of agencies out there that can be a good fit for different kind of companies, but you need to find the one that's the right fit for your company. And so if you're an online e-commerce store and you're looking for someone to grow your business using Facebook ads, you need to find someone who has experience with Facebook ads and online e-commerce stores, because that's a niche in the market that you want them to have a really, really clear understanding of and a framework for getting results.
That's a huge one in my opinion. There are a lot of people out there that think Facebook ads are Facebook ads, and that's true to a certain extent from the technical implementation, but the psychology that goes behind them and the processes that the agency should have in place on how they run those ads and how they optimize those ads and set up those ads and what different things they're looking for while they're watching those ads is drastically different from business to business. So like you said, Brice, the e-com aspect versus the lead gen aspect versus the digital course aspect is all very unique. And you need to find an agency that has pretty good case studies with that specific industry that you're going after.
Yeah. And then, like, just the reality in this day and age is, like, pretty much anybody can start a marketing agency with a computer and say, I have a marketing agency, and start charging people dollars. And you don't want to go with someone who, doesn't really have any experience. I mean, if you do, you're going to get what you pay for, right? If you go into that willingly, that's up to you, but you're going to get what you pay for. So you don't want to go into someone who doesn't have experience with what they're doing. And you don't want to go into someone who's like, done some website development and you're like, well, we need Google AdWords. And they're like, oh, great, we can do that too. We've never done it before, but we'll figure it out for you on your dollar. Like, if you really want someone that performs at a high level, if you're looking for Facebook ads for a webinar, find someone who can show you, like, hey, we've ran ads on Facebook for webinars and have achieved these kinds of results. Here's some case studies. Let me show you the framework that we use to run these kinds of campaigns. That's what you want to look for. Someone with your specific needs and has an understanding of your business model and what you're looking for.
The next one we've got is making sure that the person who's actually working on your account is an experienced individual in that space. And I can't tell you how many times I hear clients come on, and some of the best questions that I've got when onboarding a client is who is going to actually interface with me and who is going to run the account. And having an understanding of that and making sure that you verbally ask that to the individual that you're interviewing is definitely not against the grain there. It's definitely something that you should know, you should have transparency on. But so many times I've had people come to me and say, the last agency that I hired, we talked to this really smart individual. They laid out this beautiful strategy. And then the moment that I signed the contract, they handed me over to a new, possibly low level employee that was less experienced. And that was the person we had to interface from that point forward. So making sure that you know who you're going to talk to, you've talked to them prior to signing the contract, and you're comfortable with that individual and the experience that they have specifically in your space is huge.
Yeah, I've seen this a lot too, where we've had clients that have come to us because they got sold a huge marketing project by some really good, like, knowledgeable salespeople on all the things that were possible, and then as soon as their campaigns actually got started, they realized that the person that sold them the account had absolutely nothing to do with who was actually going to be running their campaign. And the person running their campaign was some, like, first year, didn't have a lot of experience. And like in the case that I'm thinking of specifically, like, didn't have anyone mentoring them. Yeah. Like, these people sold these projects and then went and hired freelancers for, $10 an hour, and said, hey, we sold this person this huge dream. Can you go ahead and make this happen for like a couple $100? Yeah. And they were really disappointed with that experience. So yeah, that's a really good question to ask when you're hiring someone is, hey, who's actually going to be working on my account? Like, am I going to be working with you? Am I going to be working with somebody else and you? Is there a team on the account? But who are the real people who are going to be on my account that I'm going to be interfacing with? And make sure you're really comfortable with those people.
Yeah, this is almost like building out the beginning of a relationship, right? Like you're going to interface with this person, at least monthly, if not weekly, or more often than that, plus all the email communication, and they're playing a pivotal role in your company. How you present yourself to the world and how you get new traffic over to your site is just a crucial thing. So to have a newbie on the account that you're not comfortable with not only creates tension in the conversations that you're having, but also leads to potential for errors, where you're all of a sudden the first interface that you have with a new customer has a typo in it, or has a mismatched ad and image, something like that. So
yeah,
definitely find out.
So the next thing that we would really encourage you to do is make sure that you're really clear on the vision of where this relationship is going, and that you and your agency agree on it, because you guys need to make sure that you have a similar goal that you're working towards, and you agree on like where you're going. I've again, all of this is coming from Mike and I's experience talking with dozens of clients. We have people who come to us because they've worked with another agency, and that agency just had they were like, yeah, we do things this way, and this is the end result that we're going for. And the client had a different vision about where it was going, and they couldn't get online with that. Like the agency didn't want to do it something different to get them to a different end goal, and they just weren't happy with where things were going, but they didn't want to change course because that was kind of their way of doing things. And it's important that you hire people that have frameworks and have an understanding of, like, you hiring them to get you somewhere, and they're going to definitely have a say in how they do it. And that partnership depends on you trusting their advice. If someone hires me, like, I want them to trust my advice on where we're going, but we have to agree on where the end vision is together, and like, what are the kind of restrictions on what we're allowed to do to get there. I have clients tell me, like, we don't want to run these kind of super aggressive tactics. And it's like, okay, we have agreed on a framework and an end result, and then our job is to put together a strategy to get you there.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I think that it's important to remember that you're still the boss of the company, running it where, like, getting to the end goal that you want to get to, and being able to clearly communicate that with the agency, especially upfront in the interview process, will do nothing but help in the long run. I know that people have come to me in the past and said, we want to go here, and then it kind of shifted and weren't quite sure what the end goal was. And we wound up as an agency almost defining that, which is never a good thing, I don't think, unless you just take a shot in the dark and then, hit the same thing that the client wants. But for the most part, for me running ads, as soon as a client comes to me and says, look, this is where we are, this is where we want to be, and this is, our vision of how to get there, that gives me a really good opportunity to see the lane that I get to drive in for the next year, 2 years, 5 years, whatever. And it gives my brain the road, or essentially the space to then be creative within that lane, right? Like, what's the technical things that we could do to set up different ads? What, images could we use to achieve that goal? But everything that we're doing creative wise and technically is going towards what the business wants. So we're able to get there a lot faster. So
Yeah, that's super important.
cool. I'll let you hit this next one. I know you like this a lot.
This is something that I am just so passionate about, and I really want to tell anyone who is about to go into any relationship with a contractor or an agency, like, this is so important. But you have to make sure that you own all of your data in this contract. You cannot let it, do not let an agency own your accounts and the data inside of it, because I have so many horror stories of companies that have worked with agencies running Facebook ads or Google ads for 2-3 years. And then when they go to end that relationship, the agency says, okay, you're ending this contract. We own the accounts and this data is ours. And so they have no historical data on what ads they were running, what audiences were working, what offers were working. They have to start all over again. And that's what you're paying. That's part of what you're paying an agency for. You're paying them to do the heavy lifting, to do the work, to bring in the strategy, but you're buying data for your business because you're playing the long game here. You're trying to grow a business over 5, 10, 15 years. You need this data to know what's working and what's not working. And if you don't own the data, you're losing one of the biggest assets that you're building while running any kind of marketing campaign. Yeah. So you have to make sure that it's super clear in your contract, in your agreement, everything. You're paying them for strategy, you're paying them to do the heavy lifting, you're paying them to work, but you own the data that's coming back into your accounts, and that's all yours.
Yeah. This one is hands down the biggest thing that we're going to talk about today, because it is huge. Not being able to take your data from one agency to the next, or in-house, or wherever it is that you as the business owner think will set you back 3 years, easily, if you're not able to do that. And more importantly than almost that is, like, it should say in your contract in big, bold 14-point font, like, everything that this agency does is yours. And I say that up front with every single new client that we bring on, that everything we are touching is yours and we're building for you. And if at any point in the future you decide you don't want to work together, then the first step in that process is making sure that you are admin owner on everything that we've created for you. So you cannot walk away from an agency without everything that they've done.
So. Definitely. Some of our best engagements have ended after a year and a half, 2 years of working together. They decide it's time for them to bring their marketing in-house. They're like, hey, this has been a great relationship. We're super happy with everything you've done, but we're going to go ahead and hire, 1 full or 2 full-time people to do everything that you're doing. We want to bring this in-house. And we help put a transition plan in place so that they're able to take everything that we've been learning, everything that we've been working on, have all of that data, and be able to move their business forward with it. And I've had people who have come to me and they're like, we tried to leave this agency and they went into our ad account and they deleted everything. Yeah. Because they said it was their knowledge, their strategy, their whatever, and they didn't want us to have it. Yeah. And it just, that hurts so much.
Yeah. I couldn't imagine ever doing that to someone, especially deleting. Like, that's insane.
Oh, dude, it's the worst, man. Imagine spending like $100,000 on ads and they go into your account and delete it.
Yeah, it's criminal.
All right, hit this last one, man.
So the last one we've got is setting really clear expectations for the company as a whole. It's important to note that the company and the marketing agency are partnered up, and sometimes that line gets blurred because of what the marketing agency is doing for the company, but they are separate, right? We are an agency that are working towards the expectations and towards the goal that the company sets. But just knowing at the end of the day that you are the boss of the company and you need to be able to say at any time, that's not what I want to do, or that's not where we're going as a company. So we need to readjust, right? And one of my favorite things personally about marketing is what I call the zoom in, zoom out, where my job requires me to see things at a 30,000 foot view, but also at a 3-inch view. And throughout the day, I have to continuously like zoom in, zoom out. So what that means is at the 3-inch view, we're looking at, did the question mark or the exclamation point at the end have a bigger effect on return on ad spend? Whereas the 30,000 foot view would say, is the entire marketing strategy that we put together actually going in the direction that we need it to, right? Like, does this matter at all? And is it going to achieve the results? So while we're doing that, it gets difficult sometimes to really make sure that everything is cohesive and in alignment. And what I've run into some in the past is we're at 3 inches trying to figure out, whether the red ad or the blue ad did better. And the client is like, well, we've changed things internally and that's not actually where we want to go. But they were a little bit too afraid to speak up because we're talking about things that were technically beyond what they understood. So we wound up going slightly in the wrong direction for a few days, excuse me. And then the client came back and was like, well, this is where we want to go. And that hadn't been communicated clearly. So what happened is we just had to reset. But the moment that the client said, this is where the company is going, we were immediately able to shift and pivot over to that and then get everything running how we needed it to. But it's critical that you remember that you're the boss of the company and you're setting the expectations as to where that should go so that the marketing agency can work within those bounds and get you there. Does that make sense, Brice?
No, that makes a ton of sense. I think the way that I look at it, and I look at the most successful relationships that I've had with people that, we've got clients we've worked with for 2, 3, like going on 3+ years now. And, you're hiring an agency for their strategy, for their expertise, and for their ability to do heavy lifting. Yeah. But you still have the reins of the business. It's very unlikely that you're going to find an agency that you're going to hire and then hand off the reins to your business and they're just going to handle everything that needs to get done in order for your business to grow every year. You still are the person who's steering the ship.
Yep. And
the agencies that you're hiring are, kind of there to work with you to help you get to your goals. So I think that, where I've seen this not work out well is when people have hired us to do work for them and then don't have the expectation that they have to do any work on their end as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, it's like when you hire, my team specifically, we can do we can do your copy, we can do your graphics, we can run your ads, we can do your tracking, we can set up data, we can feed you information, we can help you put strategies together that get you towards your goal. But everything I just mentioned is a fraction of what it takes to grow a business. There's still so much that needs to be happening on so many different departments. And so, having really clear expectations and communication, it's just things change over time, especially, if you're going to have a good agency, you're probably going to work with them for a year, 2 years, 3 years, maybe more. And things are going to change over that time, but being really clear about what you're working on, what your goals are, relying on them for strategic advice in their areas of expertise, letting them do their thing, but making sure that, you're the one steering the ship. Yep. No one's going to just show up and grow your business for you.
Right. So that's all we got for you today. I think that's a good initial list. If you guys are interviewing an agency or talking to any agencies out there, please send us an email with any questions that you have. If you want a list of things to ask or any guidance that we can give you, or if you've heard something that you're uncomfortable with, that you're like, I'm just not quite sure if that's a good fit, send us a little context or a quick Loom video and we'll give you some advice on it because we've been there before. We've seen it. I mean, I've seen things I never even thought I'd see in different contracts and horror stories from clients. So,
seen some really bad contracts. No, definitely. If you have questions, reach out to us. We spend a lot of time in this agency world, and we want to help you guys be able to grow your business. And there are a lot of agencies out there. A lot of them are really good, but there are a lot more bad ones. So. Yep.
Also, check out last week's episode. We got our process for starting a new year. That one published, I think, on the 6th, something like that. So,
Yeah, check it out.
It's a good one.
And if you like these episodes, you're having a good time, please be sure to leave us a review on iTunes because that helps us know that we're doing a good job. And yeah, that's what we got. Hope you guys have a fantastic day out there. We'll see you next time.
Yeah. Thanks, Jess.
Later.